You have been saving. Not perfectly, but genuinely putting money aside, being careful, doing what you were told was responsible. And your account balance has grown, but something about your financial situation still feels exactly the same. Here is what nobody explained to you. The money sitting in that account is worth less today than it was the day you put it there. Not because you did anything wrong, because the cost of everything around it kept climbing while your savings sat still. That gap between what your money earns and what the world costs is not a small inconvenience. It is the reason people save for years and still feel behind. It is quiet, it is consistent, and it is working against you right now whether you can see it or not. What this video is going to show you is not a complicated investment strategy, and it is not advice to stop saving. It is the specific shift in thinking and the specific moves that actually protect your money, the ones that work in the world as it is right now, not the world your parents learned about. Think about what your savings account is actually paying you. In most countries, a standard savings account pays somewhere between 1% and 4% interest per year. That sounds decent until you check what inflation is doing. Food prices, rent, transport, energy, all of these have risen between 6% and 10% in many parts of the world over the past few years. So if your savings is earning 3% and your costs are rising 8%, you are losing 5% of your real purchasing power every single year. Here is the part that makes this so frustrating. The loss is invisible. Nobody sends you a letter saying your money is now worth 5% less. Your balance still shows the same number or higher, but the number lies. It grows on paper while shrinking in reality. Let me tell you about two people. Same age, same job, same income. Their names are James and Aisha. Both earn the same salary. Both are careful with money. Both have been saving for 3 years. But here's where their stories split completely. James saves every month into a standard bank account. He is proud of his discipline. After 3 years, his balance looks good. He feels responsible. Aisha saves the same amount, but she splits it. Half goes to a savings account. Half goes somewhere else entirely. 3 years later, James has a solid savings account and a growing frustration that his life has not really changed financially. Aisha has the same savings, but she also has something else. Her other half has been growing quietly, and it is now worth significantly more than what she put in. And here is the thing. James is not an idiot. James did what he was taught. He worked, he saved, he avoided debt. He followed every rule he ever learned. The problem is not that those rules are wrong. The problem is that they are incomplete. All right. Now think about this. Inflation is not an accident. It is not caused by one bad government or one bad year. Inflation is a built-in feature of how modern economies are designed to function. Central banks in most countries target a specific inflation rate, usually around 2%. Their tools like adjusting interest rates and the money supply are designed to keep prices moving upward slowly and steadily. A world of zero inflation or deflation is considered more dangerous to an economy than low, steady inflation. What this means for you is simple. If the system is designed to make prices rise at least 2% a year, then any money you hold in cash or low-yield savings is falling behind by design. It is not bad luck. It is the default setting of the financial world you live in. But here is what nobody tells you. The financial education most people receive covers only two things: how to earn money and how to spend less of it. Almost nobody growing up gets taught what to do with money once it is saved. That missing lesson is enormously expensive. Think about Marcus. He is 24. He graduated, got a job, opened a savings account, and started saving every month. He did everything right. For 2 years, he built up a solid sum. Then he looked up one day and realized that groceries, rent, and transport had all risen, and his savings felt smaller than he expected. Marcus did not do anything wrong. He just was never told that saving is the first step, not the whole journey. Nobody explained to him that money held in cash shrinks in real terms over time. That single missing piece of information cost him 2 years of potential growth. Now think about this. You have probably heard the phrase compound interest and how powerful it is over time. What most people never explain is that compounding works in both directions. Your investments compound upward. Your idle cash compounds downward in real terms. Both are certain. Only one is working for you. Here is the honest truth. Everywhere you look, financial advice for young people focuses on saving more, cutting costs, and avoiding debt. That is important. But it is only half of the picture. The second half, how to make your money move while you sleep, is the part that actually changes your financial life over time. And this is where everything changes. What I am going to walk you through now are 4 specific moves, not theoretical ideas, not something that only works if you already have a lot of money. 4 things you can actually act on, starting from wherever you are financially right now. Move 1. Stop measuring your financial health by how much you have saved, and start measuring it by how much of what you have saved is actually working for you. Saving is the first step. Deploying that saving is the step that actually moves your life forward. Think of every dollar you have as an employee. A dollar in a low-yield savings account is sitting in the break room. It is technically on the payroll, but it is not producing anything. A dollar in a growing asset is working a shift every single day, whether you are awake or not. Move 2. Understand where your money can actually live. There are 3 basic tiers. Tier 1 is cash and savings accounts. They protect your money from immediate loss, but they do not beat inflation. Tier 2 is inflation-linked instruments like government bonds or money market funds. They roughly keep pace with inflation. Tier 3 is equity-based assets, index funds, exchange-traded funds, and similar instruments. These have historically grown faster than inflation over long periods of time. They carry more short-term risk than a savings account, but over 10 years or more, they have consistently outpaced what a savings account can offer. And this is important. You do not have to choose one tier and live there forever. Most people who are building real financial momentum use all 3. Emergency fund and everyday cash in Tier 1, some inflation protection in Tier 2, and a consistent, regular contribution to Tier 3, even a small one, building steadily over time. Move 3. Start with the smallest possible move, not the perfect one. I want to tell you about a young woman named Priya. She started investing $20 a month at age 22. Not because she had a strategy, because she read one sentence in an article that said, "Start before you are ready." Nobody praised Priya for that $20. Nobody noticed. There was no celebration. But she did it again the next month, and the month after. And here is where the math does something quiet and powerful. After 10 years of that same small amount, with average market growth, she had significantly more than she put in. The size of the first contribution is almost irrelevant. What matters is when you start the clock, because compounding needs time above everything else. $10 a month starting now will outperform $100 a month starting 7 years from now. That is not motivation talk. That is how the maths actually works. Now, this is important. Move 4. Do the audit. This is the most practical thing you can do today before anything else changes. Open your savings account. Find the interest rate. Then look up the current inflation rate for your country. Subtract. The number you get is your real return, not the number on your balance. The real one. Most people who do this for the first time are surprised. Not because the gap is enormous, because they never looked. A savings account paying 2.5% in a country with 7% inflation means you are earning negative 4.5% in real terms. Every year. Silently. Knowing this number is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of the right conversation with yourself about where your money needs to move. The audit does not make you a failure, it makes you informed. And informed is exactly where you need to start from to do anything different. But here is what nobody tells you about day-to-day spending. The cheap trap is real. Buying the cheapest version of something you replace every few months costs more than buying a quality version once. Most people never calculate this. When you start thinking in cost per use instead of sticker price, your money stretches further. Think about David. He is 26. He had a moment in a store where he was about to buy his third cheap bag in 2 years. He stopped, calculated what he had spent total, and realized it was more than the decent quality bag he had been avoiding because of the price. He bought the better bag. That was his shift. The cost per use calculation is simple. Take the total price. Divide it by how many times you expect to use it. A $20 item you use twice is $10 per use. A $60 item you use 200 times is 30 cents per use. This single shift in how you evaluate a purchase changes where your money ends up. Let me bring it all together. Move 1, shift your goal from saving to deploying. Move 2, understand the 3 tiers and use all of them. Move 3, start the clock with whatever you have right now, not when it feels like enough. Move 4, audit your real return and let that number tell you what to do next. Before you close this video, I want to be clear about something. If you have been saving your whole life, and this is the first time anyone has explained that saving is only the first step, that is not your fault. You were not failing. You were operating on the information you were given. Now you have more. The shift that changes your financial life is not dramatic. You do not need a salary raise. You do not need to become an expert. You need to understand what your money is doing when it sits still, and then make one small, deliberate move to change that. One move. That is all it takes to break the default setting. If this channel is giving you the kind of financial clarity you never got growing up, that is exactly what every video here is built to do. Hit subscribe. Not because of an algorithm, because the next video will give you another real, usable piece of this picture. And the one after that. Drop a comment right now and tell me this. What is your savings account actually earning right now? Not what you think it should be. What the number actually says, put it in the comments. No judgment, no wrong answer. Just the number. Let us see where everyone is actually starting from.